Meet the Aiper Scuba S1 Pro robotic vacuum cleaner. There you go, you didn't even know you needed one. Just before we go any further with the review, I'd really like to congratulate Aiper on their packaging. It's almost entirely made of compostable cardboard with the exception of one single plastic bag. That really sets a good standard for products that I review, and I love to see manufacturers using this. Out of the box, this is one cool looking little robot, and it's really simple. You get the robot, set of instructions, and a charging cable with an adapter. The dual brushless motors, one per track, make the robot super stable over obstacles. Two brushless motors drive the pumps as well, making this thing hang on like a barnacle that swallowed super glue. All sweat water is filtered through a 180 micron screen, and there's a 5-litre basket in the top loading hopper to catch the debris. Speaking of debris, it copes with some pretty reasonable debris. The multiple sensors on the robot mean that there's no random track inefficiency here. The robot follows an exact geometric path to maximise its battery life. Right, time to test it. And for that, we're going to need a pool. Now, although this pool is normally a lovingly cared for pool, that wouldn't put this through its paces at all. So I've asked the owner in the middle of spring to not clean their pool at all for just over a week. And in that short period of time, we've got a build-up of pollen and leaves that are going to be a fantastic way to test how this cleans the pool floor. Of course, the little Scuba S1 Pro also cleans the waterline fringe. This thing's got a 5-litre basket, and it's also got a 180 micron filter. So it's going to be interesting to see, after cleaning out a pool that's full of pollen and leaves and scum, just how much is collected in the two areas. The Scuba S1 Pro will also clean your pool quicker than those old, inefficient, random corded pool cleaners because it uses these 4 infrared sensors to locate its position in the pool and follow a geometric grid, meaning there's no missed bits and there's no double working. It's time to release this little thing into its natural environment. One button rules them all. This button here turns it on, and if you press it again, it'll swap between all of the modes. So I'm just going to leave it in the factory set do everything mode, press the button, turn it on. Oh, I better make sure that the charging plug's put in place, and then drop it in the pool. See you later, champ. It's kind of sad really, isn't it? Watching it slowly sink. It's alive. Now there's going to be another interesting challenge coming its way shortly. You see, this is a pebble mix pool, and this thing will work with pretty much any kind of pool except for infinity pools. But you see, it's coming up to a corner. Because this is a concrete pebble mix pool, the corner is not a sharp right angle, it's more of a curve. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it copes with the corner. Well, there's nothing left to do except jump in and find out. The next challenge was a corner with a seat in it, and the seat did confuse the little robot, and it spent a fair bit of time in this corner. But when it was left overnight, it eventually got the pool cleaned. Now while they say this thing won't clean steps, it does climb this step and it is cleaning the top of it, just rather awkwardly. With 180 minutes of runtime on a full charge, there's actually a mode that you can leave this little robot in where it will clean the floor of your pool every second day for a whole week without needing to be charged. I'm going to come back tomorrow and we're going to see how good a job this has done on the whole of the pool clean. Now before we go any further, it's important to talk a bit more about the app that's used to control this pool cleaner. It took me a couple of hours of fiddling around and troubleshooting and getting onto Aiper, and still with the help of the engineer that actually owns this pool, between the two of us we were still not able to connect the app to this machine. Now it does run off 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi signal, not a 5 gigahertz, which is the standard Wi-Fi signal for most homes. So we had to reconfigure the Wi-Fi router to run at 2.4, which we did, and we ran it off a 2.4 signal, and it still kept getting to about 90% install and failing. Considering the fact that you don't even need an app to use this machine, it's an unnecessary complication, and it's, for me, been a huge point of frustration. If I was Aiper, I'd back off promoting the fact that there's even an app to control this. In fact, I'd even promote this as being so simple it doesn't need an app, because if you bring out an app and it's so hard to connect, it's going to frustrate the buyers and it's going to give you a bad name. This little thing works perfectly fine without the app at all. One button, all 4 modes are accessible. Well, it's a whole day later and the pool is certainly looking an awful lot cleaner. Gone is the scum from around the sides, gone is the scum from on the bottom, and all of the leaves that were on the floor of the pool have certainly been picked up. Let's check out what's in the filter and the collection box of the Aiper to see how much work it's actually done. And the simplicity rule continues if you want to take the pool cleaner out of the pool. Just use the hook that's provided in the kit, and as soon as you pull it out, it automatically stops. Now you're safe to go for a swim. Well, as they say, the proof's in the pudding, and I'm keen to have a look at what this collection box has caught, and it's quite impressive. We've had just one clean, and as you can probably see here, we've got the leaves that you'd expect to find, but we've also got quite a bit of this fine sort of muck off the bottom of the floor, and there was some human hair in there as well. So that's always a good thing to collect and rummage around between your fingers. Let's have a look at the filter now. And it's quite interesting, this side is noticeably darker than that side. And I think that's probably an indication that it's doing its job picking up all the algae and the bits of flocculant off the bottom of the pool. So that's not bad. Now the owners of this pool, who've kindly stopped cleaning their pool for a week for me to do this trial, actually already have a Dolphin S200. Now this runs off a power cord that's attached to their pump station, and it randomly also cleans the floor, walls and waterline of their pool. So it's been an interesting comparison between the two devices. And what's even more interesting is that both of them seem to have the same foibles and weaknesses. You'll see at the deep end of the pool here, there's this long bench that extends about half the length of the pool. Both of these cleaners get into the curved Pebblecrete corner, start to climb the bench, fall back down, swing around, and climb in the same place again. They both tend to get stuck in the one spot. In fact, in the end, we had to pick up the Aiper and move it a couple of feet up the bench to get it to clean the rest of the pool. So it wasn't completely hands-free. Now, I think this is caused by two things. First is, it's basically a step at the top of the water line here. And the second thing is, the corner, rather than being a square corner, is very rounded and scalloped. And as a result, the sensors have a hard time figuring out where exactly the corner is. At least the Aiper didn't have the problem of getting tangled in its cord like the little Dolphin did. Once again, corners were an issue because at the top of this pool, we've got sharp 90-degree corners, but once you go below the waterline and hit the Pebblecrete, it starts to even out into a big open scallop. And once again, the little machine had trouble coming right into the corner, and you can actually see just here where it's not cleaned some seeds off the tiles in the corner at the waterline for a distance of about a foot each side of the corner. The other issue that both of these cleaners have is that it won't clean above the pool lights. It'll clean either side, but it stops at the pool light and goes back down again. And of course, it won't do stairs, as we've already discussed, so that's another area that you'll need to clean manually, but that's also your most trafficked area, so it shouldn't need cleaning as often. So the Scuba S1 Pro, it's fast because it's accurate, it's lithium battery powered so there are no cords, there's no power running through your pool, and it gets the job done really well with 180 micron efficiency in its filtration system. It doesn't have to go over the same spot twice because it uses a logical grid pattern to clean your pool, and with the 4 available modes, you don't have to waste your time doing cleaning you don't need to. Clean your pool from the rim right down to the floor with the Scuba S1 Pro. Just be aware, if you've got a Pebblecrete pool with very shallow corners, it may get fooled from time to time. Guys, if you like this kind of review, don't forget, hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week with something else fun.